Now, if you are allowing him deal with you, do your dirty work, because we're told in Congo we are serving vital interests. In Sudan, serving. I support the people of Southern Sudan, but I do not think that the people of Southern Sudan are more important than myself. I do not see a reason why the president of Uganda spends more money and time in Southern Sudan than in my country when he's my president. Because he has strategic interests, or he's serving some particular strategic interests. So at the end of the day, I don't think it's enough for people to follow up whatever is happening. I think it is time to put their legs where their lips are. If they are saying that time is up for greedy, corrupt leaders who overstay in power, who repress their people, then we want to see them act. We don't want to hear them talk. We want to see them act. We are tired of hearing them speak. Because at the end of the day, in a battle for justice, there are only two sides. And silence belongs to the side of the oppressor. Inaction belongs to the side of the oppressor. In Libya, to date, a regime that provides free healthcare, a regime that provides jobs for its people, even unemployment allowances. I agree, that regime also does not recognize the civil and political rights of its people, but it recognizes their social and economic rights. In Uganda, our regime recognizes nothing. It doesn't recognize our civil and political rights. It doesn't recognize our social and economic rights. So how come you're willing to bomb that regime that recognizes some rights and doesn't recognize other rights? But here, there is a regime that doesn't recognize any rights, and you're quiet. You're not bombing it. Where are your priorities? We have oil. Libya has oil. So why wouldn't we be as important as Libya? If one wants to have their moral authority intact, why, if they are fighting for human rights, why wouldn't they speak for us? The media in Uganda, I think, is the most repressed in the whole African region. Who is speaking for them? They are normally the ones who speak for us. Now they are repressed. Who is speaking for them? No one. We don't make international headlines anymore. I actually think that a certain country in Africa somewhere that makes a bill to make farting a crime will make headlines. But we might not make headlines when people, close to 1,000 people, are still languishing in prisons. Their crime, they were arrested because they went to welcome an individual, a fellow citizen. 10s murdered. Actually, we talk about 10s because that's the most recent. When we are going to go back to since the president, since Museveni actually got into power, we know these things. The Mukura massacres, where people were put in a railway wagon and they starved to death. We know stories. There is evidence that in northern Uganda, actually, Joseph Kony, the bandit, Joseph Kony, the cannibal, Joseph Kony, the murderer, may not have murdered all the people. How can a camp protected by an army equipped by the strongest army in the world, the United States of America, be burnt with a matchstick? Billions of aid to help our army, and then a camp is burnt with a matchstick thrown by a rebel? Does that really make sense? And then that rebel is wanted by the International Criminal Court. And there is another party to that conflict who is not wanted. And it's not party to only one conflict. We are talking about several conflicts in the Great Lakes region. We know that the RPA was part and parcel of the Ugandan army before they invaded Rwanda. We know what happened later on. I do not want to put blame on any side of the war. We know the genocide that ensued. We cannot just sit down and blame one part to that war. We know that. We know that 2 wars in Congo that have caused havoc. Millions and millions of people in Congo have been killed with Ugandan direct involvement. Thomas Lubanga in The Hague. Where is the president that directly said Mobutu should go, Laurent Kabila should go? Where is he? The war in Sudan between North and South. From its start, Uganda was part of it. Actually, that's what brought Kony, because Bashir was revenging against our support to Garang. So when we count the millions of these people and we trace the blood of all those, and by the way, the AMISOM peacekeeping mission that we are part of is also accused of several murders in Somalia. We are keeping peace, but we are also part of the problem. When we combine all that blood, how many rivers are we going to make? And should we now say, oh, Africa's elder statesman, Mr. Museveni, with all that blood behind him? And say, we are calling Mr. Museveni to discuss matters of the Sudan for him to help us resolve the Abyei conflict. Is it the blood that he has on his hands that attracts you to him? So can we safely say that those that deal with him are comfortable with him having a lot of blood on his hands? And then they are they take it easily when he says, him again, when he says that some Ugandans are causing chaos. And they allow that we are actually causing chaos. When they have all this history. So at the end of it, it becomes a moral question of between you and your God, if you believe in one, or between you and your conscience, if you have one, or between you and your tree, if you believe in a tree. What is the right and what is the wrong? And this goes beyond politics, this goes beyond leadership, this goes beyond difference. This goes to the root of humanity. Because we're talking about real human beings. So at the end of the day, from where we started from, it's an identity thing. Are you a human being or you're an animal? If you're a human being, how would you feel if you were the pregnant lady that was shot and you had your intestines oozing out? Because you were shot for being near where people were walking. How would you feel? How would you feel if it was your brother whose healthcare you would afford, but they can't give him to you to treat, and he died? How would you feel? How would you feel if you're languishing in exile because your country has declared you stateless? How would you feel if you are required to pay for every single thing in your country? We have the highest airtime costs in the world. It is cheaper for someone to call us in Uganda than for us to call ourselves. And we have a government in charge. In fact, the government wants to say that no telecom company should charge less than a certain amount, which means the government actually wants us to pay high telephone costs. Which type of government is that? When they say they're inviting visitors to come, I do not think those are our visitors actually. And then when those visitors come, they say, we have this money for making roads, this money for beautifying our city, this money for what? And that money is taken into people's bedrooms, into people's homes, and the best they can do is, oh, that guy is a good cutter, he supports me, and so there is nothing wrong with that. And then we say slavery ended. How hypocritical can we be as human beings to say slavery ended when we can see that almost all Ugandans are fighting against being enslaved by their state, by an individual who has become their state? Of course, practically we cannot speak and speak and speak and speak. We'll speak until the cows come home, as we say at home. But generally, there are many questions, but I think it's larger than politics. It's larger than the multi-party structure. It's larger than democracy. It's larger than the jokes they call elections. It's larger than all these things we are getting used to. It's about humanity. It's about identity. It's about the Ubuntu spirit. That spirit that I am because you are. That we are because I am. It is that. It goes to that. In Kenya, you're not going to be in peace if I'm not in peace here, because our territory-hungry person is going to ask for an island after an island and wants to rule you from your border. In Rwanda, you're not going to be comfortable because tomorrow he might not be comfortable with the man he enthroned there. He might want someone else. In Tanzania, you're not going to be comfortable because he might want to add on his wealth and so might come for your land. in the United States of America, you're not going to be comfortable because you deal with him, and the Ugandan people will never forgive you for dealing with him and for paying lip service to the cause of humanity. I think that is the bottom line. We are humans. We deserve to be treated as human beings. That is the bottom line.
Thank you.